Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. I will ride with this group. Seriously, man. Please. And away we go.
I think we might have lost William here. William Nolan said these guys have until 10:05 or I'm out.
Gone.
And it's 10:07. We're a little late here. Bad dad joke says, Declan, get your bleep together. You guys are 15 minutes late.
We're not.
We're like 6 minutes late.
Yeah.
No. 15 is excessive and would never happen.
Yeah, we were, behind the curtain here, we were recording a festive Flagrant Howls episode, which will hit your feeds here sometime shortly as the Wolves await their second-round playoff opponent. The Wolves. The Wild, historic performance by the Wild last night. The first team in, I don't know, is it sports history to reach the playoffs 8 times in 10 years and never get out of the first round. Hang that banner. Minnesota sports for the win. Let's go.
So they now are trying to join the Twins, right? Who lost, was it 18 consecutive playoff games?
Yeah. Well, that was games, though.
Yeah, that was games.
Right? But I'm saying that was a record for North American major sports.
Yeah.
So like the Wild is trying to join the Twins in these really hard to establish categories of playoff ineptitude.
Yep, it's it's pretty impressive. I think it's now, is it 100, like 130 combined seasons?
It's like almost 140, I think.
140 for the men's professional sports teams without a championship.
Yeah, good work.
So things are going great on the quest to win championships here in Minnesota. All right, before we get into a big batch of Feedback Friday, starting with some interesting reactions to the JJ McCarthy press conference, let's start our journey at Quick Trip here. Let's fuel up the right way, Judd.
As we love to, because guess what? Quick Trip gives you everything that you could possibly want. If you're watching this right now, look at all of these delicious choices. You're on your way to work, and you need a snack for work. You forgot lunch. That's absolutely fine, because Quick Trip is going to be serving up food that is going to satisfy you, including chicken. That's right. How about tonight for dinner on the way home, you stop by Quick Trip and get the hand-breaded, fried to perfection, and ready for you to enjoy chicken for the entire family, or their juicy chicken tenders, or boneless wings, perfect for dipping. That, to me, sounds absolutely outstanding. We also got the crispy chicken sandwich, which is filled with flavor. All these choices at Quick Trip, so make sure that you make Quick Trip your stop to get what you need. It's a grocery store without being the hassle of a grocery store.
Okay, Brandon Caskey sends this one in via the feedback tab in the SKOR North app. Seriously hyped for this season after listening to JJ McCarthy speak with the media on Tuesday. He sounds like a leader. Both him and Kevin O'Connell give that vibe and energy that makes you want to suit up and run through brick walls. Wow. He will be the quarterback that hoists our first Lombardi trophy in the air as a franchise, and it won't be the only one he hoists for us.
Wow.
Oh, my God. Hold on.
Double
Worth
fisted.
it?
So
Double
Brandon,
fisted Lombardis, huh?
Just double. Let me read you a couple more here because there's some conflicting thoughts on the press conference. So another positive one here from our guy Richard Heinrichs, old school Vikings fan. Good morning, gentlemen. Been watching football for 56 years, and I've never heard a man so young stand at a podium and answer questions from reporters like JJ McCarthy has. He's genuine and respectful to people, and you can see the confidence he has. He won a national championship in college, and yet he is not at all full of himself. He's confident, humble, and he's a genuine leader. He is setting a great example to young athletes. Bravo to the Minnesota Vikings for bringing this man into their organization. On the flip side, Chase Daniel, right?
Yeah.
Daniel, yep, former quarterback.
It's not plural. It's
not
a singular
plural.
Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just paraphrase this clip that we saw on social media here from, I think it's from, is it the Athletic Football Show? Or it's the Scoop City podcast with Diana Rossetti. So Chase Daniel said it sounded like it was rehearsed in his head. He's just nervous to talk in front of the media. So he's saying that it sounded kind of scripted and that JJ came off a little nervy in that press conference.
So this has been brought up behind the scenes to me before by others. And I went back and watched it again a little bit. And yeah, but it's the first time he's talking to the media here in quite some time. He knew what the questions were going to be. But I guess what I'm struggling with is, does Chase Daniel think that's a bad thing? And plus, you know what? The tone of his voice, go back and listen to his press conferences. The tone of his voice sounds a little bit nervy. I don't know what it is.
I agree with that. Yeah.
But he just got it, and I mean, he's a kid still, so he's young. He's got that sort of a little bit higher pitch. But I guess what I would like to know is, hey, what's going on?
Hey, I want to win the Lombardi. Hey,
Lombardi's
tickle me, McCarthy. Oh.
On the Doughboy, I think. I went
Yeah,
from Elmo to the Doughboy pretty dang quick there.
But I guess I would like to know, is that like a bad thing? And when Seifert asked the question about are you prepared to start, or are you ready to be the starter, he definitely was prepared for that question. But again, I would ask, is that a bad thing? Like, because he answered it, and I like how he answered it. So I'm a little bit confused as to if this is a problem, or if you just thought he was a little bit nervous, which I would agree with. But it didn't even occur to me to like, and I love to red flag things. You guys know me. I love to be like, I heard a little bit something there. I have no problem with it.
Yeah, I you could tell there's a little nerves, but number one, it's 100% natural to me. We talk for a living, and there's still times, maybe not in the podcast space with you guys all the time, but if I'm in a press setting with a coach or a player, like, nerves naturally come up. That's going to happen just organically. If it was, and I know Nick Sirianni now ends up getting the last laugh. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He won 1. But, like, if it's a Nick Sirianni or Ryan Poles, we're going to take back the North, like that like actual nerd, like that's concerning. That is concerning. But, like, if JJ seems just a little nervous just because he's a little hyped up and he knows that this is kind of his first real press conference where he's going in as the de facto QB1, I didn't look at that presser and be like, oh man, like, he can't handle bright lights by any means or anything.
Yeah. A few thoughts on this. He's super young. He hasn't dealt with the NFL media spotlight much at all, because 2 things happened in the last 12 or 13 months. One, when the Vikings drafted him, they essentially shut off the spigot for media for him. He was not allowed to do. I mean, you see Kevin O'Connell everywhere over the past 12 or 13 months because he's the head coach and he can kind of do whatever he wants to. JJ McCarthy has not done a ton of media since being drafted by the Vikings. Media being podcasts, radio shows. You'll see him once. He popped up on the Rich Eisen show a couple times, Kay Adams. So it's not like he's done nothing, but he hasn't done a lot of media. And then the press conferences are even different because you're standing up there at a podium in isolation,
Right.
with a bunch of people recording you and cameras and lights, and it's kind of an unnatural, uncomfortable position if you haven't really been used to it. And Judd, by your estimation, how many times from like the off-season workouts last year all the way through 12 months later has he really even done that? Like 8? 10?
If that. They actually didn't
5?
Yeah, they didn't mothball him before he got hurt. So he talked last spring once, I believe. He was talking during training camp a couple of times, but I'm with you too. You know, the press conference is basically, in my opinion, akin to public speaking, which is very different than talking into a microphone like right now with you guys. So but I would just be curious, like, oh my God, is this a problem? Like, he'll get used to it, but he doesn't see, to Declan's point too, there's a difference between being nervy and being unable to control the room. And I do think O'Connell, there were a couple of things what was the phrase? It was funny that JJ got wrong from O'Connell in the spring last year. He like reversed it. He was trying to parrot something that Kevin had said, and Kevin sort of busted his chops at the podium. And I do think part of it too is McCarthy's trying to say the right thing, because he'll get talked to. I mean, he won't get yelled at, but he'll get talked to if he doesn't say the right thing. So yeah, I see no problems.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of crap of Chase Daniel in our YouTube comment section here. By the way, I actually enjoyed, he's on FS1 every once in a while. I do listen to Scoop City here and there. My favorite Chase Daniel fact, though, is he started 5 NFL games. Do you know how much money Chase Daniel made in the NFL playing football?
I mean, 25, 30.
$43 million.
That's a good life.
Yeah.
He did dagger the Vikings off the bench in like 29. I remember it was a Kirk year. He came off the bench.
the
I think
Bears?
Trubisky got hurt, and he played like the best game of his life. Daggered the Vikings.
Yeah. One of the great, in terms of just efficiency of how you make your riches, that's got to be pretty high up there.
Yeah.
$40 million.
$41 million
play 5
for
football games.
throwing 273 passes in the NFL.
Yeah, which
It's awesome. It's awesome. I love it.
It's amazing. Yeah. By the way, just to react to, where was that comment here from Lucas here, that JJ needs to be on Purple Daily. Yes, we would love that to happen as well. I think JJ would love to make that happen as well at some point. As of right now, the Vikings are just trying to, hey, keep a low profile, do your workouts, but I think it will happen at some point. It'd be super fun. It'd be fun to show him the reaction from the 2024 draft party, people at the Fillmore losing their minds when that pick was announced too. But yeah, we hope to make that happen at some point. Chris Burke chimes in and says, always enjoy the show. However, a bit of a contrarian opinion here on the Vikings' perceived undrafted free agent success. I've been dumbfounded when it's occasionally being suggested on the show that Kwesi's abysmal draft record is somehow mitigated by his success with the UDFA classes. And it definitely has been said, especially by D. Goff, that's been mitigated. I don't know. We have to go roll the tape on that, but sounds like an attack here. Once again, the UDFA class is highly rated because, credit to the Vikings, they're willing to spend it to take a shot. While most UDFAs obviously do not hit, my issue is not with the Vikings process, but with the show's perception that the Vikings are somehow killing it or thriving in the UDFA process. They found Ivan Pace. In 3 years, he's the only UDFA that's actually contributed to offense or defense. And this kind of continues, so on and so forth. Yeah, I would say that we need more time. Gabriel Murphy, at some point, I think is going to be a contributor. But your thoughts on this criticism, D. Goff?
I think the D. Goff criticism mostly is maybe the headline and thumbnails that I'm clicking and using, because I said he used like 3 words that I definitely used in a headline and thumbnail yesterday.
Wow.
So that's probably where
clickbaiting people.
I'm just clickbaiting people.
So you're saying plagiarism of
yeah.
your own headlines
Yes.
has led to this.
Yeah, no,
has
classic
led to you
D. Goff
taking-
move. D. Goff.
D. Goff.
Print the shirts.
D. Goff. Well, I think the show, he's not wrong. We have talked about the fact that they have had these UDFA classes that look good, but we also have hammered the 2022 draft and Kwesi's draft issues into the ground to the point of we get notes about it's time to get past that, which I don't agree with either, because it was, it's still important. But we pointed out some of the good. I feel like we've spent a lot of time on the draft, though.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like Chris has a perception of our commentary on this, and that's fine. I think my perspective is we have absolutely exhausted the criticism of the 2022 draft.
Yeah.
And we're still kind of waiting to see on the 2024 draft and certainly the 2025 draft. So it's there's kind of 2 compartments, the draft and then the UDFAs. And there's a lot that has not yet been determined in both those categories because it takes sometimes 3 to 5 years to really find out. We know the 2022 draft class is historically bad, and we have taken the Vikings and Kwesi to task on that time and time again. I think that's been exhausted.
And 2025 is going to be incredibly important because it's going to tell the story, and to a large degree, I think, and fairly, of your first 2 picks, which are first rounders in 2024.
Yeah.
Like the Dallas Turner thing, this season's crucial to him. Like, it can't be, well, he had Van Ginkel and Grenard in front of him again. They have to find a way, and Brian Flores will. He's a very creative man when it comes to defense. JJ McCarthy's going to start. So, yeah, these are all things that have to play out. But I feel like there's no show in town that gives the Vikings heat for things they screw up like this show.
Yeah, when it's warranted.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when they screw it up.
Speaking of Dallas Turner here, let's go to this one from Michael Lloydolt. He says, to those worried about Dallas Turner with the Van Ginkel extension through 2026, have you not watched the Lakers versus the Wolves series? The Lakers are completely gassed by the fourth quarter, having a deep rotation is key, be that in basketball or along the defensive line. I mean, I'd put the Eagles as the NFL example, where they've got, for years and years, they just keep finding dudes, drafting dudes, free agents, etc. So, yeah, Grenard's under contract, Van Ginkel for another couple years. Those guys are the incumbents, and then Dallas Turner. But you want those three guys. Go get a fourth guy.
Yeah,
rotate,
and
keep guys fresh.
Well, yes, and look, one of the questions going into training camp, even with the two additions on the defensive line, is still going to be the rotation. Redmond, what's his role? Taki Taimani, what's his role? So yes, the defense and let's go back to Brian Flores. Positionless football, gentlemen. Positionless football, okay? If Dallas Turner is ready to play, I'm going to tell you right now, he's going to get snaps. Like, it's not going to be like, well, Van Ginkel and Grenard are playing, so what are we going to do? They're going to find a way to use him. So yeah, I am defensively, guys get hurt a lot. There are definite rotation things. Like, it's not like an offensive line where ideally everybody plays every single snap. So I am with that I think that is a very astute way to put it. And the Van Ginkel extension, I still want to see it. I still think it was partially to reward him, but just as importantly, it was probably bookkeeping as well. These things are always bookkeeping.
Chris Eckhoff in the YouTube comments says, never catch a live show. Hell yeah. Morning, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We do have the Van Ginkel contract stuff and over the cap. They updated us.
Okay.
So his cap number for this year is now 11.4. I think it was 12 before the extension.
That makes sense.
Next year, a $19 million cap hit. In 2027, which is another void year, it's $8 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
they shoved some additional.
Yeah. So
he got the extension. He signed a 2-year contract, so this would have technically been his last year, right? So the 26 year now. So that makes more sense. So they created I think they created the void years then, if I am correct on this.
They had 4 void years in there beforehand.
They did. Okay.
Yep. So they had 4 void years in there on the initial contract. They've just shoved some of that into future years. Is what happened here.
The void years are kind of a funny trope in the NFL. They're like fake years that you're not actually under contract. It's for accounting purposes only. So you can prorate. You basically kick out the accounting into future years so that you have more cap space now. But then once that player's gone, you do have to pay that dead cap hit the year that they're gone. It's
why people think the salary cap in this league particularly is fake.
It's not fake, but it's very manipulatable.
Right.
You can manipulate it.
I just gonna say you can manipulate it, but can you imagine if the NBA had void years?
On top of all the other aprons and all that stuff. So yeah, right now after that updated Van Ginkel cap number, the Vikings have $15 million in effective cap space for this year still, which is like 20th in the NFL. So there's a little wiggle room there if they needed to bring in a backup cornerback or something. So, and then here's the interesting thing though, for 2026, the Vikings are they're going to have some work to do here because they've gone from this year, they had like the 6th most cap space. Next year, they have the 3rd worst cap situation. They are currently $49 million over the cap for 2026.
This is why also it is imperative that your draft classes, and I'm not saying your first round picks, I'm saying your draft classes start to pan out. Like this is, unfortunately, to go back to 2022, we're sort of here because of that. Because you had to go sign guys. Like the free agency thing, it would have been nice not to have to go so aggressive, but they sort of did. Yeah. So this is where the judgment on the draft classes becomes so important, because ideally if young guys start to pan out, then guess what? You're not nearly as desperate come March to go get guys who cost you more.
Let's go to David Bruss here, who says, do not make excuses for this year's Vikings team. I have watched your show for the past several years and I have enjoyed it. I personally have told everyone for a long time that I can't die until the Vikings win a championship. This team is ready to win now. It's time. I've been a fan for 56 years. That's the second emailer that has been a fan for exactly 56 years already today.
Which beats me by a year, and I'm old.
Crazy. I watched it all from Joe Cap now to JJ McCarthy. During the 1969 NFL championship game, one of my older brothers kept mouthing off, yes, that my brother is a douche and still is a Bears fan. By the end of the game, we were fist fighting. Write this down, David Bruss says. The Vikings will win the championship this year and will win 4 more over the next 10 years.
Whoa!
Hold on. We got to get it out. I'm still.
Wow,
my
dude.
arms are still sore. They're still sore from waving this thing at the draft party. But wow.
He says, keep the pressure up. So David's basically calling for a dynasty over the next 10 years.
I'll just take the 1 to start with.
It's kind of crazy, though, because if you would have asked, like Patriots fans in 1999, do you think you're on the verge of a dynasty? They would have been, I'm sure they would have been hopeful, but the Warriors fans in the NBA in 2009, do you think you guys are, what do you think is going to happen the next 10 years? Oh, hopefully we can nail a draft pick and compete with the Lakers for a championship. Boom, dynasty. So, you don't know what's lurking around the corner.
Yeah.
I know it's been a minute here since a men's team has won a championship.
I'll just take the 1 to start with, and then I'll get greedy.
Ivan Wilson says, the way too early 2026 mock drafts have me wondering, how many draft picks do the Vikings have in 2026 as of now? Hopefully it'll be a full slate. Do we? Let me see here.
I did. Hold on a second.
We can do a full episode on this.
Yeah, I forget where I put this. I actually did this a couple of days ago.
They don't have is it a 5th or a 4th from the Robinson trade or something?
Yeah.
So right now.
Yeah. So yes, on the Robinson trade, I remember this now. Come back to me. It was a conditional 6th or a 5th that kicked up to a 4th. It is now kicked up to a 4th because of playing time. They also got a 7th round pick back from Jacksonville that was conditional that they've now lost because he played so much. So
okay.
So that trade for Jacksonville maxed itself out.
But I'm on NFL Mock Draft Database. That's right, NFL Mock Draft Database. And I can't tell if they're projecting the comp picks or not. They definitely have a 1st rounder, 2nd rounder, 3rd rounder. I think they're projecting a 3rd round comp and maybe like a 5th round comp.
I saw a projection this week that said 2. Right now, the projection is 2, not 3, 2 comp picks to the Vikings.
Okay. Unless like Trent Sherfield hits some incentives.
Trent Sherfield.
I'm pretty sure that's a thing. Like Trent Sherfield's contract could at the
I'll
end
find
of the
it
day
though. I've got this list, and it's actually fairly, like, it's not terrible, but there is, I think they've lost the 4th rounder. I think, to what Declan is saying, I think they've lost that because of the
Cam
trade. And you know what? He wasn't great, but I still applaud that trade.
Yeah.
With where you were, you could not kick Blake Brandel out to left tackle and have Dalton Reisner start at left guard, which would have left Ed Ingram at right guard. So for whatever that cost you, I still think that was a good trade.
Yeah. Earl Abbott says, what's the dealio with Kwesi's porn mustache?
I think it's a great mustache.
I don't think it's a porn mustache. Do you guys?
No. I think it's a great mustache.
Mustaches are. I mean, Dex kind of has one right now, right? Or is
I was
going to
say
a little shadow on there, yeah.
Okay.
But I think we need to start like they're back in, so I think we need to be careful about like what's a porn, because for a while stashes were out for a long time out, so like every stash looked like a porn stash.
Yeah.
But I feel like now they're back in enough. Yeah, I think Kwesi's stash is cool.
It shows.
Plus, I want that hat. I want those hats that they now have. Where what's it like a Viking guy at a computer or something working on? Cool. That's a great hat.
Yeah, it's like a front office nerds hat or something. It's pretty cool.
I'd wear
I think the confidence that Kwesi is exuding here. I think he's feeling himself after the Donovan Jackson pick and crushing another UDFA class. Got that mustache, showing up to Wolves games courtside.
It is funny though, you guys, how far from a football mentality he's come since 2000 22 because like the recent drafts, this year's draft, I mean, you could tell he got some good offers. Like he easily could have moved back. I wonder if that Atlanta first round pick was there because that's the one that intrigued me. And he did not move back. Like that's a long way from the night of 2022 when you kicked yourself from 12 to 32.
Yeah. Yep. And time will tell. Maybe the right move was to move back, but I think if you're kind of 50-50 and you could just get a really good player at a position that you also need a good player at, just don't ever Jordan Addison. Don't overthink it.
That's the old don't get cute thing from me. Don't get cute.
Yes. All right, we're gonna get to the Twitter drama of the week here that we did. Doogie did address it on the Thursday scoop session. There's been like 48 hours of discussion about this as it's bubbled up on the internet. So there's one comment in particular I want to get to that I don't know. It kind of stung me. I don't know. I feel like we're taking shrapnel because Doogie's on twice a week on our Mackie and Judd podcast. He was at the draft parties. We're going to get to this here. A shout out to, speaking of the draft party, Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I'm assuming getting your new house all prepped up for.
Yes. They were able to help me out. And you know what? I got to get them back out there because that air conditioner unit that we have out at the house, pretty old. And when they looked at it in the wintertime when we were doing the inspection, even they noticed, you know what? That sucker is probably going to need an update. And thankfully, they can provide that. They can give me a nice little tune-up. They can figure out what's going on with it, especially now that I'm on that Smart Club. So if you haven't contacted Standard Heating, tell them that Purple Daily sent you. Join that Smart Club because it gives you discounts on repairs. It gives you priority booking. It's a great little trick to have at your disposal. So go to standardheating.com to take care of all those HVAC and air conditioning needs.
Park Dental is great at keeping your teeth clean. Park Dental is my new dentist as of late last summer. I've had 2 awesome appointments there. Judgment-free zone, all right? They've done a great job with just kind of making me feel comfortable. It's tough. When you go to a new dentist, it's kind of tough. I had the same dentist for about 10 years, and then he retired. And so I was looking for a new dentist and had some anxiety about it. But for over 50 years, Park Dental has been caring for and cleaning teeth in Minnesota and Western Wisconsin. And I've just had a great experience with them as well now. So I'm locked in for a long-term contract, I guess, with Park Dental. There's not actual contracts, but I'm in. I'm in for the long haul with Park Dental. And you can schedule your checkup at parkdental.com. That's parkdental.com. And then, Judd, the World Juniors are coming to town. We love big, fun sporting events in the Twin Cities, and World Juniors is near the top of the list.
Oh, yeah. If you are a hockey fan, I'm going to tell you right now, this is a bucket list item because this is a tournament that's fantastic. Sports Dad, the day after Christmas every year, tells Dawn, guess what? The next 10 days, I'm going to be watching the World Juniors on TV. But this time around, I'm going to be watching them in person because for the first time since 1981, they are coming to the Twin Cities. 10 glorious days of hockey. The X3M as well will be used as the venues. Runs December 26th through January 5th. Lock in now. Group play packages available. Go to worldjuniorsmn26.com. Worldjuniorsmn26.com. Almost every star player that you are watching in the National Hockey League right now played in this tournament. It's that good.
Let's go. So, okay, to catch anyone up to speed here, and I think most people aren't like super plugged in online, and so it's possible that this is all new. But Doogie got himself into some hot water by being, I don't know, mean and disrespectful to some people on Twitter and the internet. He clapped some people and probably went a little too far and got a ton of backlash. It went viral across at least like Vikings Twitter, etc., and maybe even beyond. And then he came on the Scoop podcast with us on Mackie and Judd and the SKOR North YouTube channel yesterday. I thought it was very heartfelt. Mm-hmm. People can draw their own conclusions, but we kind of led the show, and he took ownership. And listen, you can go back and check it out if you want to, but because Doogie is a contributor and a friend of ours here on SKOR North, I think what makes me want to bring this up on Feedback Friday is just some of the shrapnel and the backlash toward us and SKOR North being associated with Doogie here. I want to read one in particular because it represents probably 10 other similar ones that I've seen in the last like 12 hours.
Sure.
From Himmy Soda. tweets at the three of us specifically, at Judd Zulgad, Jay Zulgad, Dex's tweets, and at Phil Mackey. It's a joke for you to call yourself the most fan-friendly show in Minnesota sports with this pompous reporter on your show twice a week. I've been a daily listener for 6 years, and I'm advocating for the boycott of all Scoop episodes. And I've seen some other people say that they're out on SKOR North podcast because of some of the Doogie interactions, shame on Judd and Phil and Declan. And I don't know, man, like, Judd and I have known Doogie. This is what's tough, is like Judd and I have known Doogie and have been friends with him and even colleagues in some instances for like 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I personally wouldn't be friends with someone for 20 years if there wasn't a great side to their personality. I see some of the things that he claps people about on Twitter and the way he does it. And it makes me cringe for him too, because I know that's not really who you are behind the scenes. Take a minute, take a deep breath, and just listen. Part of this business is we're going to spar and we're going to disagree and it's sports and we're going to clap and but I do think there's a respect line that we should all operate above, whether it's person with microphone and platform talking to audience or whether it's audience talking to people that do this every single day. But I think what stings the most, and I'll just speak for myself and you guys give your thoughts too, is it stings the most for me when people question this community that, wait, you guys portray yourselves as the most fan-friendly platform, and here's this thing over here that's happening. We don't take that lightly. Like, we hear that criticism, and I just want the audience to know that, A, we do love Doogie. B, he does need to be nicer to people on the internet. I think he has heard that loud and clear over the past couple days. But C, again, we don't take this community for granted. We've spent 5 or 6 years. Like, listen, we know what it's like to be broadcasting on AM radio into a vacuum to 100 people. And so to see what all of us, not just the three of us, but like people behind the scenes, and most importantly, the community, the audience, you guys are equally, if not 90% of the reason why SKOR North has become what it has the last 5 or 6 years. Mm-hmm. We value that greatly, that relationship between us and the audience. And I guess if that was jeopardized over the past couple days, I feel terrible about that. I do feel like Doogie deserves a chance to come back from the criticism and the blowback. He's had a lot of conversations, it sounds like, behind the scenes, certainly with us too. So I don't know, like, I don't have a grand ending to this point other than we absolutely do not take this community for granted. We love you guys. We do think we're the most fan-friendly platform in Minnesota sports. And I don't know, hopefully Doogie and some people and us too can learn from. Listen, this is all fun and games at the end of the day. We're not saving lives here. We're talking sports. So let's proceed accordingly. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
No, that's well said. It's well said. And look, yeah, I'm that type of person. I have no interest in throwing Darren aside because, I don't think if I didn't like the dude, it'd be totally different. But quite frankly, he wouldn't be on with us. You're right. We've known him for a long time. He's a good friend. Is this where Twitter's a bad thing? Absolutely. I mean, we've had our contributors. We can go through the recent list. Patrick's had some things. He got off Twitter entirely. Those don't reflect things that have been said on our show. But yes, we do. We are, I think, the most fan-friendly show. That being said, are there missteps? Absolutely. Have I tweeted things that I regret? Absolutely. There's no question about it. So, yeah, I think we need to. I think we need to be very cognizant of probably what we tweet. I have taken, and I used to not do this at all. If somebody really is going, and there are trolls, I think that the best thing to do is mute them. I feel instantly better. I feel better when I respond by the mute button than I do by actually tweeting something back. That being said, is there good dialogue with a lot of you people out there? Absolutely. It's awesome to hear from you. And that doesn't mean, I get a lot of, I don't agree with you, Judd. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's what makes life great. But, Yeah, I think the recent months, when it comes to Twitter and certain responses, and some being misinterpreted and some being mean, it's a very good lesson in probably not firing back immediately. So, but yes, I do agree. It is disturbing when people are like jump on us, rightfully so, and say, "I thought that you liked us," because we definitely do. And this show, we have worked, and you guys out there have worked very hard to build a community that didn't exist, and I think is really, really awesome. And jeopardizing that is not something that anyone wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, we try to, and we do. We have Ventline every week, even during the off season. I'd love to talk to Vikings fans I've never met before. Okay, a lot of these people I haven't met personally, or I haven't even met them digitally, which is now basically a new way to meet people in 2025. We try to do that. I covered the Twins not just because I wanted to do something different in my career, but also because you guys had questions, and I don't take any of that criticism or also things you want to know about the Twins or clubhouse or that type of stuff. Your guys' feedback and your guys' interest in that helps me go into that job every single day. So I'm always appreciative of that. And, Doogie, without a doubt, made a mistake, and he's owning it, and he's gonna dig himself out of that. I understand why people are upset with how he phrased that. It was a mistake. It was a big one. I think he's going to be better for it. But yeah, it's hard because I think we see that stuff as looped in of, oh, well, now SKOR North has to be 100% accountable for it too. That's difficult. We held our colleague accountable for it, and I think he's going to be better for it. And with the whole trolling on the internet, which yes, I'm totally guilty of clapping back when someone says something either disrespectful or even just something I don't agree with from a sports side. This is where even like in my own life, especially when we're with my siblings and even my wife, like I don't love confrontation. We've talked about how like I get uncomfortable during confrontational things. I don't do well in them. And actually, if there's something that I particularly don't like, or I know I'm going to say something, and I did this as a kid, I do this as an adult, I walk away from the situation because I know I'm going to say something that's going to get me in hot water and deeper what. So we all can be better from it. I think Dukes is going to be better from it. We hear that criticism, and we're going to obviously we held him accountable, and we're going to be better for it too.
Yeah, I think just for context, to sum it up, yeah, Doogie essentially told someone that they shouldn't have a voice, that social media gives people a platform that shouldn't have a platform, and it was extremely condescending. I think what sometimes people don't see is there's a lot of just like nameless, faceless people that say terrible things on the internet. And yeah, like you can't react. And that becomes even more pronounced when you are on a microphone every single day it's kind of wild the way people react to sports opinions is what I've learned over 20 years doing this. Not that that's an excuse to clap back below a respectful level, but I think sometimes that's where it comes from when you see people in the media that tweet something or say something in a moment. Usually it's not about that moment and the thing that's happening in that moment. It's a compilation of other things. So yeah, got to be nicer to people on the internet. And we just want you guys to know that we absolutely believe that this is the best, most fan-friendly community in Minnesota sports. It did not exist 6 years ago. It is a product of you guys. It's a product of new media and distribution. So we could probably move on to other topics here, but we just this is the first time we've had a chance to kind of bring it up. It blew up over the internet the last 48 hours. And yeah, thank you guys for sticking with us here on Purple Daily.
Well said.
Fire that music back up. Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
Let's go. Let's see here. Let's go to Austin. Austin B. I was curious what an expert would say on the 1 gorilla versus 100 men debate. So I did some research. We've also had some people chime in saying we need the sports dad's thoughts on 100 men versus 1 silverback gorilla. So Austin said he found a video from Forrest Galante, a wildlife and conservation expert, that said 100 men could in fact take down 1 full adult grown male gorilla. His reasoning states the gorillas are like sprinters and they run out of gas after a minute or so of intense physicality, much like Luka Doncic.
Interesting. I did not know that.
And 100 men combined could easily take them out afterwards, since humans are strongest when working together.
Yeah.
So that's his take. Judd, what do you think?
Well, how many? So here's my actual question. In doing this, and if that's true, it makes a lot of sense, but how many men would die? Like, if you sent 100 men against a gorilla, how many men would have to be sacrificed to win?
Yeah, Ron McGill even, right, who he contributes to Levitard. He's in a big animal, runs zoos, and I don't know exactly what his actual title is, but knows animals. He said, without a doubt, there's going to be, if you put 100 people in a room, there's going to be probably a dozen or two that just automatically are going to die. They're going to be kamikazes, right? Like they're
right.
But the 100 people would eventually swarm and be able to take down that gorilla, knowing you're going to have mass casualties still as a result.
Right. So that's my question.
Yeah.
Because because if and in fact, if you put the weakest up front to die, and then have the strong guys in back, right? And the strong guys will eventually, because if this is true, and like a boxer, the gorilla starts to tire out.
Yeah.
So I think the 100 men would win, but by the time that you were done, I would be curious what the number of men left alive would be.
See, Frank brings up the most, I think, prudent point here, which is, will the rest of the 100 men keep going after the first 10 get ripped apart? If fear gets injected and now everyone's just scattered,
well,
I think fatigue, that's a real thing, though.
That's what I was going to ask. But yes, the 100 men would, or what's left would keep going if the gorilla clearly starts to become lethargic. Like, that's the question. Like, if the gorilla could plow through, then I think it'd be very tough, and the gorilla probably wins. But if the gorilla, like a boxer in the corner, starts to get exhausted, like the gorilla's tired, then I think the 100 men would keep going based on what they see of the gorilla being tired.
Yeah. I saw someone say, give me the dozen best Dolphins players to take down a gorilla of all time. I think this also applies to Vikings. So, like, who are the 10 Vikings players that could, not 100, but 10 to a dozen Vikings players that could take down a gorilla?
If it's 10, they would die.
I feel like we would actually need to pick from 100 from the entire league, though, because it's got to be the right guys. It would have to be 100.
Yeah, if it's 10, okay. I mean, a silverback gorilla is like 9 times stronger than the average man. Yeah. And then there's also the factor of they can climb trees, they can run 25 miles an hour, like they're faster, bigger, stronger, exponentially. So you might think like, let's get all the Aaron Donald, Dexter Lawrences out there.
Right.
Just get these dudes. No, man. Sorry. I know Aaron Donald trains in the off season before he retired with he spars with like people who have knives, but imagine a silverback gorilla with knives all across their hands or their paws or whatever you call them.
So if you were to take 100 National Football League players and put them in a room with a gorilla, here's my question. Would you take just 100 of the strongest dudes, or like would you start off with guys that will be sacrificial lambs but bring a skill set of, like, I don't know, their own speed, their own, to tire the gorilla out?
So 5 kickers that are just going to kick like crazy but probably get destroyed in 10
seconds.
Oh, they'll
die,
yeah.
Okay.
Limbs ripped off, but like, what's the strategy?
Goots suggests 2 coked up Lawrence Taylors.
Lawrence Taylor would be he probably would die, but he would be in my group.
From the Vikings side, I would have John Randall. I'll take prime Linval Joseph. I'll take Linval.
Well, Pat Williams, Kevin Williams.
I think Pat's too big. Like Linval's, I'm not saying Pat and Linval aren't equally massive human beings. I think I would take Linval though to fight a gorilla in a war against a gorilla than I would take Big Pat.
I would go so like from a starting strategy to tire the gorilla out. I'll tell you right now, I am, and this might sound weird, I'm putting Harrison Smith in that room because he would die, but until he dies, he's going to be feisty as hell.
Dude, no fear. One person against a gorilla would cause, or
oh no, I'm saying as part of my 100.
Yeah, but like sending one would be an instant death, like zero damage.
Right? No, he'd be part of, but he would be. Just to be clear, I'm saying Harrison Smith would be part of the 100 men in the room.
Because you want him to die? Like he's not even.
No, because he'd go out
Because he's
he'd be
intellectual and he's feisty.
No, because he's feisty. I want to tire
He's
the
too small, dude.
I
What are
want
you
to tire.
talking
No,
about?
but I'm saying you got to think about this. How do you want to approach it? Because certain people are going to die for sure. I want feistiness, and I want the gorilla to be tired out.
But
If
he's
the
not
first
going to
note
be.
is true-
He's feisty in general, but he wouldn't be feisty in a fight against a gorilla. He'd be dead within.
Yeah.
How about this one? Zachary asks, "How many 11-year-olds would it take to bring down Aaron Donald?"
That's from last year, I think. I feel like we did this. I feel like that one was on.
The Aaron Donald one?
No, the kindergarten. It was kindergarten.
Well, yeah, the kindergartners. But this is 11-year-olds and Aaron Donald. This is totally different than kindergartners.
I'd say maybe 500 to 1,000. I don't think 111-year-olds could take down Aaron Donald. No,
500 11-year-olds?
500. It would take It would take multiple 111. I don't think 111-year-olds could take down Aaron Donald.
Don't you think the sheer,
No.
if they could organize though, like the sheer
You know
weight,
what, though?
if like the mass of bodies.
No.
We're not giving enough credit to the. If the first person was right, Aaron Donald would get tired though. Like you have to factor in here. He's not a cyborg. He
Yeah.
played like one because he's going against one or two guys. So if you put 111-year-olds, at some point in time, they're going to be resilient. And by the way, he's probably not going to kill a lot of them. He might kill one by accident, but because of the resiliency, he's going to tire after a while. So now I think you would have a chance.
Patrick wants to know how many Neanderthals could host Purple Daily. Well, it's at least 3. We know that.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it 3, 4?
Let's go to Daniel Peterson. On Sam Howell, he says, what I haven't heard anyone say yet is that Sam Howell is from Charlotte, North Carolina, where Josh McCown has lived and been highly influential in football culture over the past 15 years. I'm sure they crossed paths, and Josh helped weigh in on trading for Sam Howell. I crossed paths with Josh McCown a number of times when I lived in Charlotte. He's a great, great dude. Sam Darnold, also a high character guy. I'm all in on JJ McCarthy, or Sam Howell, I'm sorry. I'm all in on JJ McCarthy, but I really like this trade and the Charlotte connection with Sam Howell and potentially Josh McCown, SKOR Viking.
Great point. I did not know that. Great point. I'm pretty sure when we were at the Wolves game on Sunday, I'm pretty sure I entered the men's room with McCown. I'm almost positive because he's got that jaw. Like, there's not a lot of jaws like that.
Did you look over at him while you guys were standing at the
No.
urinals, or-
I was walking walking from the concourse into the men's room, and I just looked to my left, and I'm like, I think that's Josh.
Okay.
But then again, I'm not going to be like, hey, you're Josh, right? So anyway,
Can I hold that for you? Your water bottle, I mean.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
But I do like that. But this is an intriguing point because Kevin O'Connell and the coaching staff in 2022 100% vetted him at that time, and they didn't draft him.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting point. That definitely could have played a factor in the new thinking.
It is very possible that Sam Howell was not. Well, the number one option for a backup was Daniel Jones.
Yes.
It is also very possible that Sam Howell was not the number 2 option. That they went through a list of scenarios, but there's also the timing of the comp pick. Maybe Joe Flacco was, I don't know. Maybe Doogie reported that there wasn't really much between Joe Flacco and the Vikings, but it's possible that Sam Howell was Plan D or something. Maybe they liked Aiden O'Connell, and the draft pick compensation wasn't there. I don't know.
There's a possibility. Like I know we think that O'Connell is like quarterbacks come one, come all to my rehabilitation school. There's a possibility he didn't like the vast majority, if not the entire, once Jones left to sign with the Colts, that he didn't like anyone that much. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, no, it's true. It is true. Okay, boys, I think we got a couple more here, but we're going to do a Saturday checkdown episode, and so I think we're going to save some of these because we got to get to a snake draft of the week here.
We got to go.
We got to go. Snake draft of the week, presented in part by North American Banking Company. Minnesota-based since 1998 with 6 locations: Maple Grove, Roseville, Shoreview, Hastings, Woodbury, and 50th in France. So, North American Banking Company is all about personal relationships, friendly, knowledgeable people. You can actually have a face-to-face relationship with your banking company, and cutting-edge online tools designed for the safety and security of your accounts. Super easy to just make the switch to get a better banking experience. They'll help guide you through that transition at nabankcode.com. nabankco.com/Mackey, where you can learn more. That's nabankco.com/Mackey. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. And Dennis Kirk is here for riding season. Now, this is finally the weekend where we emerge into summer-like weather, it looks like.
Finally.
And this is going to be riding season for sure for all you Ragnars roaming around with your motorcycles, ATVs, UTVs, whatever it is that you ride. Dennis Kirk has a part, a piece of apparel, or an accessory for it. And you can get same-day shipping on orders placed before 6 p.m. Central and free shipping on orders over $89. DennisKirk.com, gentlemen. DennisKirk.com. All right. Somebody help remind me from the draft party what the draft order should be here this week.
Draft order this week will be Dex, Mackey, Judd. Last week, or the Vikings draft bus, which was from we did that at the draft party, so we didn't do a snake draft, obviously, on the Feedback Friday episode a week ago.
Yes.
Mackey won that one. So, Phil, you picked up the win with 47.8%.
Whoa, that's a blowout.
I think Judd at 32, and I had 25. But that win from Phil ties Judd with 15 apiece in snake draft wins. So you guys are now tied. Phil, you're 15 for 40. Judd, you are 15 for 44, having participated in every single snake draft. I am 9 for 37. Let's see here. Highest percentage, Mackey with Thanksgiving foods at 78%. He also owns the lowest percentage with 2.3 coveted championships, which dethroned his previous lowest percentage of 3.4% with bar foods. So a little bit of stats here for your snake draft.
Love the statistical database is a great touch by you and AJ. AJ are whiz behind the scenes here. So, all right, boys, the topic for this week for snake draft.
The comments just came in.
Some people just don't really like the
snake draft. Some people don't like the snake draft. You see, I don't lash back. I think that's hilarious. I don't know if we should put it up, but I think it's hilarious.
The one from Lucas right there?
Yes, yeah. Lucas Charters.
Mean, listen, this is why we put the snake draft also at the end of the episodes. That we just gave you 50 minutes of...
You gotta laugh, though.
It was 35 minutes of football talk, 15 minutes of dumb drama, and now it'll be the Circle J,
it's like high school.
As Lucas said.
You talk some sports, you get some drama. Now we do a fun game.
So it's going to be action movies, our favorite action movies. We used to, from 2020, during the pandemic when there was no sports happening, the old Mackey and Judd radio show, the very early days of SKOR North, and we were live on the radio. And we did these weekly action movie rewinds. And we did movie reviews weekly for 3 years. And you can find, we haven't done one in a couple of years, but you can find a podcast feed, Apple and Spotify, Mackey and Judd movie reviews. And it was mostly action movie rewind. And then we went into the rom-com business and some other things. So, so this is going to be kind of a callback to the old action movie rewind here. Dex with the #1 overall pick. Action movies.
I do not love having the top pick for this. I'll be honest.
No one does.
Dude. It's very
the top
tough.
pick is the top pick is ordinarily not good, in my opinion.
Okay, so there's a lot of options here. I have a nice big board. I have a big board. I have a pick that you two are probably gonna hate. Just a spoiler alert.
Okay.
But it's not gonna be the top pick. You're gonna hate it, but I think it's worth.
Is it
picking.
Snakes on a Plane?
It's not Snakes on a Plane.
I got a feeling it's a film I wouldn't cross the street to go watch. If it was being shown in my backyard, I'd close the drapes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. There's two I'm kind of really stuck between, but I'm gonna go with Terminator 2.
Oh, controversy.
Terminator 2.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Not 1. I think 2 is far superior to the first one.
Terminator 2 was wildly successful.
Yeah.
It's because I was born, I think, between Terminator 1 and 2, so I remember it's Judgment Day, right? Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Wasn't that the...
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we did review it, right?
Deal. Yeah, in fact, I pulled up the old... because we gave every movie, we each gave it a 1 through 10, and then we put together an aggregate, and Terminator 2 was an 8.8. Terminator was one of the 3 10s that we ever gave out. Straight 10
really?
across the board.
Okay.
Sarah Connor.
So it sounds like because Dex would have been part of that 10. Dex gave Terminator a 10. I don't know. He might have given Terminator 2 a 10, and then Judd and I brought it down. I don't remember what all three of us scored it. You can go back and probably find the episode on that podcast feed. Okay. All right. With the number 2 pick here in the action movie draft. Oh, this is tough. It's really tough. Give me... give me Con Air. Give me Con Air.
It's on my big board.
A classic 90s Nicolas Cage. Put the bunny down.
Yep.
I told you to put the bunny down.
Dave Chappelle deserved better.
Dave Chappelle
Deserved a better fate.
No, that's a great. That was a great role.
love that death?
I love that death. Yeah.
Spoiler alert, but yeah.
Well, it's what again.
I haven't seen it.
If you haven't seen it, you're never gonna see it.
Buddy. Yeah.
And it's not exactly a major role, so like it's not. You didn't ruin the film. All right.
So okay, we're over to Judd. You get the back-to-back picks here with the wraparound.
Okay, I'm gonna run to the podium and I'm gonna take Top Gun.
Oh, shoot! Oh, shoot!
And
Think of Top Gun.
And Die Hard.
Okay, yeah, Judd wins. I think Judd might have just closed her out there. I was between Con Air and Top Gun. Love action movies involving planes, apparently.
Yeah, Top Gun was fantastic.
Yep.
And quite frankly, I don't care, Christmas film not. We can debate that.
It is a Christmas film.
Die Hard is also fantastic. Shout out to Bruce.
Oh, doing man. Okay. I don't think he is doing okay.
I don't either,
actually,
but I just hope he's as comfortable as he can possibly be. How about
definitely
that?
Not doing okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, I'm saying for the circumstances because he's got that, I don't know what it's called, but terrible.
Yeah.
Affliction.
It's not good. So, okay, with my second pick here, I'm going to go with Independence Day.
Oh, good pick.
One of the great presidential speeches in the history of cinema. Today is the day.
Yeah.
The speech and the again, spoiler alert, dying wife scene gets me every time.
Yeah.
Gets me. I well up at both scenes. Both scenes, I get teary-eyed for both scenes. I get teary-eyed for two different reasons. I get teary-eyed for the sadness of the death, and then I get teary-eyed as like, you know what? Yes, America, we're gonna win this. We're gonna win this war. Love both those scenes.
It's great. Yeah, and then what's his name? He essentially sacrifices himself to fly his plane. Randy Quaid up into the
Cousin Eddie. I like.
He's actually that crazy
Eddie.
too. He's actually. We found out he's that crazy that they probably would do that. Cousin Eddie.
Okay, back over to Dex here with his back-to-back final 2 picks.
Oh man, Judd took Top Gun, and now I'm kind of debating taking Top Gun 2 because
it was really
love
good.
Top Gun 2.
Top Gun 2 was fantastic. I'm not.
Very good.
Oh man, love that movie.
Oh, Chris asked a question here. Which Die Hard did I take? I'm taking the original.
Okay, well, okay. Actually,
yeah, well,
Chris,
that would be you.
No, I know, but just to clear, because Chris,
Chris brings up an excellent point here. Django Unchained is probably my favorite movie of all time.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but
I've never seen Django Unchained.
It's probably my favorite film of all time. It is. I mean, it's action-y. It's Tarantino. The guy loves blood, gore, and violence. So, Chris just completely gave me an audible. I'm taking Django. I'm taking Django Unchained.
Okay.
Because I have to. I now have to take it.
All right, so we have our first Tarantino movie off the board here.
Okay, I'm going to take this. It's probably going to piss you both off, but I think it's an action film. So you guys can debate it. We can have a conversation. If you don't want me to make it, I can make a different selection. I think Batman Dark Knight is an action movie. Yeah. I know you guys don't like superhero films. Yeah, honestly, and I'm not super into the current day superhero movies, but Batman Dark Knight is legitimately one of the best action movies. And if you just Google Batman Dark Knight, it classifies as an action movie.
Yeah, it's definitely a gray area of like superhero action. Although Batman is the least superhero-y of the superheroes.
This is true. He's a normal guy.
So I think we're going to have to allow this one unless Judd really wants to put up a fight.
I have never seen a film in this franchise, so I'm not.
You've never seen a Batman film, even the old ones.
Have we
like
talked
back in the
about
day?
this?
Yes, yeah. Going back to Michael Keaton, I've never seen
Like
any
the
of them.
Michael Keaton ones?
Starting, the only thing I've seen is the television show from the '60s. That
This one.
Yes, I've seen that. I never have seen any of the movies.
I feel like you'd really enjoy the first Michael Keaton.
I probably
with
would.
with Jack Nicholson as the Joker.
Yeah, no, I probably would.
That's kind of wild,
definitely
actually.
But
Wow.
I just have never seen him.
Joe
It's
was
nothing
too busy
against it.
watching Hockey Night in America in the late '80s to bother himself with a Michael Keaton Batman movie.
Or trying to get beer.
Or just well, you can drink beer and watch Batman.
Yeah.
Those things are not.
No, but I mean when you're not 21 yet, the grind is real.
Okay, with my final pick here, 3rd round pick, I'm kind of caught between old school and newer school here. One of my all-time favorite action movies. You guys absolutely clowned it back in the day. It was one of the first ones we reviewed. I can talk about my big board here. Judd's got the only pick left.
Mm-hmm.
So Bloodsport is one of my favorite movies.
It was the first one we did.
So corny. And I gave it like an 8 or a 10, and you guys all gave it like a -1 and just hated it.
It was bad.
And I feel like that movie was on, they used to run it on like WGN and TBS. But I'm going to go a little newer school here. Never Kill a Man's Dog. Never Kill a Man's Dog.
I was going to, yeah.
I'll take John Wick with my...
This is a good pick. This was
Final
originally
pick,
going to be my second pick until...
Yeah.
We'll go the original one, just the original
Yeah,
John
first one.
Wick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Piano, just outstanding.
He wasn't just a dog.
So that leaves me with the last pick.
Yep.
All right. Well, this is tough because I mean, there's just still a ton of films. Roadhouse. There's Point Break. There's a lot of fun films that I like. But I'm taking this to mean like as much action as I can get, like big movie productions. And Point Break was, but I'm gonna go with Air Force One.
Yeah. Get off my plane.
Yeah. Air Force One. In my opinion, the Bill Pullman president, he was good. He was really good. And the speech is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I think Harrison Ford at that point in his life might be my favorite president in an action film.
Very, very presidential. Yeah. Very
Yes.
believable.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a great one. That one received a 5 out of 10 though from this group when we reviewed it for Action Movie Rewind. Not sure what went sideways there.
It was a little
That's a
campy.
great movie.
It was a little campy. And
I
get
thought it was
off my
very
point.
realistic.
Well, here's one of the problems for the time of that film. The get off my plane scene is one of the most it's shot with old school.
Oh, it's so good.
Like,
It's so
like
good.
he's literally pushing people into like a green screen in the studio, and they're like flying away.
Or aren't
so
they like?
campy.
Aren't they like? What's the word? I'm like zip lining from plane to plane to get off it too.
That's what they do, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
To
until
get off the plane.
William H. Macy's character dies. Sir, it's time for you to go. No.
Mark Luther says you guys are totally dating yourselves.
Yeah,
Very
well-
90s kid picks. The 90s were like the 80s and 90s were the glory years of action
Yeah,
movies.
Yep. Mark, I'm 55. I fall in perfectly to that. Yes, I am dating myself. I do that often.
So all right, so here and I saw a bunch of people throwing in like James Bond movie suggestions. I love James Bond movies,
A little surprised.
but I feel like I almost put James Bond movies in like Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Those are in almost Mission Impossible probably should have been drafted in here. But I almost just think of those as separate altogether. They're like their own genres. So maybe that's a fatal mistake here. But
It does pain me not to have taken a Seagal film.
that also is its own genre in some ways. It's
Exactly.
the tight jeans, bad acting genre. But so Dex winds up with Terminator 2, Django Unchained, and Batman Dark Knight. Jubb winds up with Top Gun, Die Hard, and Air Force One. And then I wind up with Con Air, Independence Day, and John Wick. And the voting will be available on the SKOR North Twitter/X account.
No speed. No Taken. I had Speed and Taken also on my big
Yeah.
board.
I had
Taken
Speed.
was
I did not have Taken, but I did have Speed. But I do enjoy Taken.
Beverly Hills Cop, Fast and the Furious. No one
I had
took any Fast and Furious.
I had FF on there.
This
yeah.
could have been a 10-round draft.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop, No way. Good film. I enjoyed it, but it's sort of comedy action. I don't know. I just don't. Again, I don't.
We did buddy cop films, which kind of cross into action films, kind of action comedy films.
Absolutely.
So
Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Brought up on the show this week.
That was on my list.
The Rock.
Do you want to shout out the title?
All right, so the voting is dramatically going to be on the SKOR North Twitter/X account.
I don't know how this is going to go. Usually I kind of have a good sense. I genuinely don't know where this is going to go.
I feel like Top Gun and Die Hard. It's I can't
believe I didn't think of Top Gun. I almost would have taken Top Gun 2 with my first pick.
Yeah. It's a great sequel. Thought about taking the original Terminator 2, but yeah, we should have had 10 rounds here, but that would have been too much of a Circle J for some people in the audience.
Lucas.
All right.
Out.
Okay, well, we'll see you guys for a Saturday checkdown episode tomorrow, and be on the lookout for Timberwolves post game. I don't think they're starting the series until like Monday or Tuesday, but you'll have Flagrant Howls, and then Judd and AJ recapping the Wild season on Judd's Hockey Show. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. So, yep.